everyone, you are listening to the Manifesting Straight Talk podcast, and I'm your host, Rachel Chamley. I'm a mindset and manifesting coach from the UK, and I am here to ignite that fire inside of you. If you are a female entrepreneur or change maker, or just a woman that is wanting more from life, then you are in exactly the right place. I am going to give you my no-nonsense, straight-talking advice to manifesting and show you how to take your life to that next level. So if you're ready, dive in now. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's podcast episode. Today I want to talk to you about using gratitude as a superpower. Now imagine gratitude is like a super elixir to heal lots of different aspects of our lives. And I have used it to transform so many aspects of my own life. And I want to share that with you because gratitude was a huge part of my journey. And often it's one of them things that we overlook. But when I first started learning about manifesting and following different people, hearing from different mentors, they were all talking about gratitude and they were all talking about having a gratitude practice. And initially I adopted this as my thing to do, the thing I could commit to and the thing that I was going to make happen. So it took me a while to get into the practices, thinking that meditation, journaling, gratitude, them types of things could transform my life. I was a little bit skeptical, I am not going to lie. But gratitude was one thing I thought, right, I can commit to that. I can do 5 things a day, create a list, and I can do it. Little did I know, I wasn't very good at committing to things at the beginning. And you might be finding this as well. You might be thinking, I'm dipping in and out of these practices, but actually it's making things a habit that makes the difference. And I'll talk you through my own gratitude journey and how I created a habit. And now it is just a huge part of my life and how you can use it to actually reprogram your brain, help your relationships, help your finances, help your business, help your life, and heal lots of different aspects. So we'll dive into a bit of each and I'll show you how to use it and use it to your own benefit as well. Because we always need to know what's in it for us, right? We always need to know that too. So with gratitude, I started off and I thought, right, I can do it. I can write 5 things out a day, but life was busy and I wasn't really committing to that properly. So what I decided to do was start my own Instagram page. It was all meant to be around gratitude and I would post a picture every day and I would write the 5 things that I was grateful for. And I started this off, I think in like 2017, 18. And it grew and it grew. And by doing this, I didn't realize the impact gratitude was having on my life, but it was literally reprogramming my brain. So when you start to think at the end of the night, what am I grateful for that day? You scan back over the events of that day and you start to see all the amazing things that had happened, all the amazing things that actually you maybe overlooked at the time, but they all happened and they were all there to make you feel grateful. And when you start to bring that emotion of gratitude in, you notice your frequency changes. The emotion of gratitude is the most high vibrational frequency. It's up there with the likes of joy. It brings in that joy. Appreciation is a very high vibrational frequency on the emotional scale. And what that does, it instantly puts you into that heightened vibration, which is what we are all looking for. And that is why gratitude attracts more things to be grateful for. So it isn't just a nice to do. It isn't just something that I think, do this and it'll literally, just be nice to have. It is reprogramming your brain. So you are getting more and more used to feeling gratitude. You are getting more and more used to feeling that emotion coming to your body. You can do that now. Think of someone in your life you are truly grateful to have. Just think of that person, think of the things they do for you, think of the love they give you, think of all the things that you are truly grateful. It might be a person, it might be a pet, it doesn't matter. But think of that person now and take that emotion into your heart. Feel how grateful you are to have that person in your life. Feel how much love they give to your life, how much enrichment they give you. Bring that in now. Just feel that emotion consume your heart. That is gratitude. Feel how good that feels. That has just took over just from you thinking of that person. So you thinking of 5 things every day that you are grateful for, which is the practice I would start with, is bringing that emotion in. It's not just writing a list and saying, I'm grateful for Tom down the road who, said hello, or I'm grateful for the sunset. Feel that moment again. Tom down the road when he said hello and his smile was beaming at you and he was like, hiya, love. And think of that feeling and think of that time and bring it in. Be like, oh, that was so nice of him. That was so nice of him to stop and think to say hello to me and reach out and say hello. Or that sunset that was just incredible, that literally blew my mind. Bring that emotion in. So when you write your list, feel how grateful you were for feeling that. And what you start to notice is even if you've had the worst day, you still have things every single day that you could be grateful for. There is the house that you live in, the room that you are sitting in, the chair you are sitting in, the phone you are listening to this podcast on, or the phone you are watching this video on, whatever you are doing, whatever version you are watching this on, you bought that. That is yours. That is yours. You are holding it in your hand. And how much does that give you? How much does that thing in your hand, listening in your ears, give you? Think of how grateful we are for the things that we have. Think of it, totally changes the way that you look at something. So doing this 5-a-day gratitude gives you that chance to stop, reflect, bring that emotion in, and it starts to get you used to feeling that emotion and thinking that way. What happens over time is where the power really happens. Over time, like any habit, it starts to transform. You are so used to going through your day at the moment in a version where you don't look at the gratitude potentially. You're maybe not looking at things from this light. The neurons in your brain are just going across and doing that all the time. By putting in a gratitude practice in, you are actually putting in a pattern interrupt to them neurons. And what's happening is they start to flow a different way. They start to flow a different direction to what they normally do. And that, by doing this regular, becomes your new normal route. So what happens is you reprogram your brain without even realizing it, but to look for gratitude in everything. So your brain starts to scan situations for what it can feel grateful for in that moment. Because you have said, you have brought that emotion in, you have felt it in your body. You are literally reprogramming your brain to do that again and again and again. So what happens is you literally go through your day, not only thinking of that time of a nighttime when you are sat there thinking, right, I am going to do my gratitude practice. You are starting to look for gratitude all the time. So what you find is that throughout the time, maybe 30 days later, 45 days later, it doesn't matter. It will start to happen. You will suddenly start to look for things that you are grateful for through the day. It will naturally happen without you even have to overthink it. So you will start to scan your day and you will bring that feeling of gratitude in more and more and more. And what happens is that then starts to attract more and more and more things to be grateful for. It also allows you to look at every situation and see the good in it. See what that situation brought you. See what that situation actually give you to be grateful for. So you start to see the lessons in things, even though they might not be the nicest situation. Your brain is scanning for the lesson. Your brain is scanning for what is there in this for me to be grateful for. So you over time start to reprogram and this becomes your norm. So now, me starting that Instagram page, thinking, that was just a little thing for me to commit to, has completely transformed my own life. I see things to be grateful for all the time. I am the worst person to come to if you have a bad news story, because I am literally buzzing inside like, oh my God, what is this giving you? What are you getting from this? What is there to be grateful for in this situation? And it's probably not the worst person because I'm not going to give you the pity party. I'm not going to give you the, oh my God, that's so awful. Like, I will give you the empathy, don't get me wrong, but I'll also be underlyingly going, what is there to be grateful for in this situation? Because there is always something. And I know some of my friends will be listening to this podcast laughing because they have had these conversations at probably the worst moments in their life. And I'm like, yeah, but there's something just incredible happened. And, it's for a reason. It's always for a reason. There's always something. And that's the way that you get to the point. It's not that you exclude the bad stuff. We can never stop the bad stuff. The bad stuff is going to happen. I always talk about ebbs and flows. I always talk about the tide going out, the tide coming in. Manifesting and being a spiritual person or being intuitive or whatever you want to call it, you are never going to stop the bad stuff happening. And you would never want to, because if you ever stop the bad stuff, you will get so complacent about the good that you would not even feel it. It wouldn't even be good would not be a thing if we didn't have the bad. You need the yin and the yang. So we can never stop the bad. We just change the way we deal with it. We change the way that we see it. And this is where gratitude is your superpower. So to start off, at least start a 5-a-day gratitude practice. You should have your 5 a day anyway. That's what I say. 5-a-day gratitude practice every single day. Think of 5 things you've been grateful for. Bring in that emotion. Make sure you're bringing in the emotion. Make sure you're feeling it. And watch the magic start to happen. Then you start to extend it. If you're not naturally seeing it, start to put a reminder in your phone. Start to think how you can bring in that gratitude more and more through the day. Start to stop and just think, what was I grateful for in that last half an hour? What was I grateful for this morning? Start to really bring that thinking in. Just what lit me up today? What made me feel grateful? Start to pop a little reminder in and just think about how you can change your own patterns and how big of an impact that would have. It's huge. But I really want to dive into how gratitude can start to change the way that you think of your money, your life, your business, your relationships, all sorts of things. So if we start with your money, think of the money that you have. When was the last time you actually thanked your money for showing up? You get paid probably every month, every week maybe. How many times do you thank that money for being there? Do we just take it for granted that we've got that job and we get that money in every month? Or do you look at it and you're like, oh my God, I've just got £1,000. Oh my God, I've just got £1,500. Whatever that is for you. Oh my God, I've just got £5,000. Whatever that is for you. Do you ever just stop and go, I've just had £1,500 paid into my bank account. I've just had like a tenner from my grandma, whatever it is for you, do you ever just stop and go, oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for being there. Because money is like a resource like anything else. And, just taking care of it, thinking of it, being grateful for it helps bring in more. So thanking your money, thank you when you pay with your card, you don't have to say it out loud and look like a crazy person at the till, like, thank you, when you're scanning your card, but just thank it every time you scan it, because what we've been programmed for, and especially if you've been in any financial difficulty, when you scan your card, you might have that initial dread from years ago when you couldn't afford to buy things, or even, last week, if that's your case. And that doesn't matter, because remember, your past doesn't represent your future. But you might have that initial, oh, is there enough money in that account? That could be your pattern. That could be your habit of thinking when you scan your card. It might be that, is this actually going to go through? So what you could do is pattern interrupt by starting to say thank you. So every time you give that little approval sign, you're like, yes, thank you. Yes, that was amazing. I was just able to buy that. Like, how amazing is that? Thank you so much. I've just bought that thing. And if you do have that dread when you put your card to the thing, because you know what it was like to have no money and have that horrible feeling like, is it going to go through? Then imagine starting to change that. Imagine how grateful you should be now that actually you can just pay for that thing and you can just pay for that and it's okay and you know the money's there. How nice is that feeling? So let's start celebrating it. Let's start having gratitude towards it. Start scanning your card and saying thank you every time and watch how much the money wants to be there so it can go, thank you, thank you. It'll love it. Money attracts to this good vibration. So the more you appreciate it, the more you're grateful for it, the more it'll show up. As well, we have a lot of guilt and shame linked to money in different ways, whether it's credit card debt, whether it's, bad things that we did, like we made a mistake with our money years ago, and we constantly play it over, or we got into debt and we paid it off and we got into debt again, whatever it is, we always have this guilt and shame around we're either bad with money or we're good with money. We're not anything with money, we're just using our money the best way we know at that possible time. And actually, money flows to us in multiple ways. And if the only way money was able to get to you was through your debt and to be able to give you money at that point, you should not feel bad for that. It's just one of them things that you weren't open to it coming in a cash flow situation. You felt that the only way you could have it was through debt. And that's okay, because we need to change the way that we look at our debt. So when you're linking and you're saying debt and you're feeling negative towards it and you're feeling like it's a bad thing, you're feeling like it's something you shouldn't have, suddenly your vibration lowers and you're attracting that lower vibration and ultimately probably attracting more debt, which is because you don't like the word, you don't really want it. So you need to start to use a gratitude practice to turn this round. Thinking about what did that debt give you? The debt wasn't the debt. The debt was a way to have money. The debt was a way to pay something over time. The debt wasn't debt. It was money brought in some version. So what were you able to do with that money? What did that money bring you? What did that money free you from? What did that money, bring to your life? You maybe bought something. I know I bought a kitchen on finance. I bought my bathroom on finance. There's all sorts of things that these were spaces that I absolutely loved. And every time I went into them, they lit me up. They're just like, oh, amazing. I felt rich. I felt fun. But when I thought about the debt I paid, it was like, oh, that negative thing. So I really focused on the gratitude of what it brought me. I've bought many of courses on credit cards. I've actually expanded my knowledge in my business on credit cards. And I just look at that was me expanding my business, investing in me. And I am so grateful for that money. Even the courses that I haven't actually finished because I'm a little bit flighty that way. But I don't go down the way of thinking, oh, that's a bad thing. I needed to get something, even if it was making that investment at that time. I am grateful because it meant I was backing myself. I was able to hand over my card and go, yes, this is for me. I'm ready for that up level and I'm going for it. And I am so grateful for that. And changing my mentality towards my debts, my mistakes, the things I did in the past with money, and just going, yeah, but that was an experience that now, if I didn't have, I wouldn't be able to talk about it. I wouldn't be able to share it. I wouldn't be real with other people. If I'd had a lovely financial background where everything was easy, I wouldn't be able to talk to you about how you can make money in your business from nothing, because that is literally where I was from, making business from loads of debt, but still going ahead, not thinking I need to stop and clear all my debt, thinking I need to start a business. I need to invest in me. I need to move forward because this message is worth it and it's paid off. So, you can't just hold back and wait for everything to be amazing, but you can change your perspective to it. And gratitude helps you do that. So start to think about your money, how you can be more grateful for it, how you can actually look at your past mistakes and see the grateful thing that's in there. There's a little nugget. There's a nugget of information that's just waiting for you to go, that's what it was for. That's amazing. Now I can change my perspective because everything in our past was meant to happen. There's nothing that was wrong. There was nothing that you should be taking away. There's nothing you should be erasing. You should just be seeing what was the thing to be grateful for. Everything has given you a superpower. It's given you an extra bit of learning. It's given you an extra bit of knowledge. It's given you an actual superpower. So make sure you are taking that information and using it. And use it through gratitude. Look at the situation with a different lens. If you start to look at things with a gratitude lens, everything will change, believe me. Now, the next thing, relationships. How many of us get stuck in relationships? We get so used to people that actually we forget seeing all the good things. People get so normal. You might have been with your partner for years, and at first you thought they were the fittest thing going, and then suddenly they're just, Jim that you look at. It's not like that. The way to get the spark back, the way to get the things back in the relationship, the way to start looking at things differently is look through gratitude. What are you grateful for each day? What do they do to you? What do they bring to your life? What are they bringing to you? So rather than looking at all the things they did wrong, or they've not put the dishwasher in right, or they've not stacked this up right, or they've drove you mad with whatever, what have they really done for you today? Have they stopped and told you that they loved you? Have you stopped and told you that you love them? Have you stopped and said, I am so grateful that you did that? If someone does fill the dishwasher wrong, do you ever stop and say, thank you for doing that? Because your way might not be the right way. We all think it is, but actually, do we nag them at doing it for wrong, or do we say, thank you, you did that? There's a whole different ball game if you start to look at your partner with appreciation. There might be things wrong in the relationship, and I am not saying bluff over everything, but I'm saying start to look at things like, are you grateful in some way? Even if it's a past partner and you have a lot of guilt, you have a lot of shame, or you have a lot of bitterness, be grateful that relationship happened, because now you can start to see what you do want. You can start to see what you've walked away from and what you've said you are better than now. So there's gratitude to be seen in absolutely everything. So please don't overlook even the things that we feel anger or bitterness about. There's still something to be grateful for. Even if it's just they showed you what you didn't want, they showed you that you were worth more. That is a massive learning curve that often people don't even get to. So if you've had the privilege of somebody treating you badly, for you to say, I am actually worth a hell of a lot more, then win-win. You got something out of that, and you should be grateful for that lesson, because a lot of people go through life and suffer a lot because they never come to that conclusion. So start to think about in your relationship how you can use gratitude and bring that to life. As well, in our businesses, often we start a business because we're passionate. We start a business because we want to help people. And we get into these ruts of thinking success. We've been driven by success for years in absolutely everything. So we put metrics on things. We want to measure it. We want to suck the life out of it with numbers. And actually, what did you start your business for? Did you start your business because you desperately want to help people? And then suddenly you're helping 2 or 3 people, but because in your head you've got a metrics of you want to help 10, you're suddenly not doing what you set out to do. But you are doing what you set out to do because you're managing to help them 3 people, 2 people, whatever it is. So start to be grateful for every single thing, every client that pays you, every person that joins your Facebook group, every person that listens to your podcast. Even if you don't know who they are, you see them numbers, you're like, oh my God, there's a person at the end of their numbers. Sometimes we forget because we're so programmed by success, and we see these people on Instagram or whatever it is with like 20K followers, 2 million followers, and we start to look at them people and think they're doing better. But actually, you affecting one person's life, if you have a follower of 50 people, imagine putting 50 people in a room in front of you. How grateful would you feel that all them 50 people are listening to what you need to say? Like, start to look at how amazing this is. Take the metrics off things and start to think, what was your true purpose for starting out in the first place? And then look at, are you actually doing that? Even if it's with one person, be so grateful for that. If you launch and you have in your mind that 20 people need to buy, but 4 people buy, or one person buys, one person believed in what you were offering. What the rest of them, it doesn't mean they didn't believe, it's just a not yet. So buy into that gratitude for that one person. Buy into the gratitude for the bits that you are getting, and start to feel really grateful for the impact you are having, the people you're getting to meet, the connections, because there might be a bigger version out there that's meant for you, and you're traveling down a certain path and things are being redirected another way. But if you start to think you're a failure, or you start to look at things from a negative lens and dipping into these lower vibrational frequencies, we cannot often see what's meant for us. So by flipping it and looking at everything with gratitude, oh my God, I've just done my first live, or I'm so grateful that someone showed up on, my live, or whatever that was for you, really celebrate with gratitude, because that is the way to start attracting more and more, and start to feel good about what you're doing. Nobody said that you had to be a success by having this many numbers, or this much in your bank account, or this much thing. That is not what success is. Success is literally doing what you love and sharing it. So it doesn't matter on the numbers. It doesn't matter. Just be grateful and watch everything grow and expand, because it will. Believe me. People buy into that energy. People want that energy. People can feel valued from your gratitude. It's no good trying to hit bigger numbers if you are not being grateful for what you have now, because you're constantly knocking yourself or saying you're not successful. And what happens is people feel that. People buy energy. That is what they're buying from you. They buy the energy. They buy the energy that you are giving. And if you're not giving off a gracious energy, or you're not, giving yourself that graciousness, people will feel it. So really start to look at, what are you doing that you can be really, really grateful for? Because people out there will be so grateful that you are doing it and you are brave enough. So please let that take over in your business. How can you add gratitude to your business? And I've touched on this throughout, because all of this is about healing, but really, how can you start to heal through gratitude? If you could start to look at things from your past, or things that have happened that were traumatic, or, really affected you, how can you start to see something in that to be grateful for? Now, I'm not saying that you are going to be grateful for the event that happened, because if it was very traumatic, you're not going to be grateful. But there is going to be something in that situation that is giving you a superpower, whether it's resilience, whether it's strength, whether it's you are just unfuckable, whatever that is. This gratitude will have given you something. If you start to look at these situations and use a lens of gratitude to see, what actually did that give me? Because like I said, there's things in our lives that often are planned to send us on a different trajectory, to send us in a different way, to actually make us who we are, so that we can share it with someone. Now, I've had a really shit time financially wise in the past. And like I said, that has been my story. That has been, if it had been easy and I just flowed through life and everything was perfect, I probably wouldn't be coaching like I'm coaching now, because I wouldn't know how crap it was to feel so crap and want to turn that around. I wouldn't have had a transformation story. So for me, all the crap that's happened, the childhood trauma, the stuff that I've been through, all of the stuff, it literally has made me who I am. And my story is what I share. My story is how I help others. My story is the transformation that I had to go through to be able to do what I do now and be on my life's mission of helping others do the same. So I'm so, so grateful for it. There's no way I would change any of it, even though a lot of it was crap. I wouldn't change a thing because I wouldn't be able to relate to my audience. I wouldn't be able to be the person I am now. I wouldn't have transformed. I'd probably be, I don't know, flitting about thinking I was untouchable and, crash one day later down the line. But I'm lucky enough that I had them experiences. I took that learning and I'm using it for good. So there's always something to be grateful for. So please have a scan through things and just try and look at it through that gratitude lens. See how it could release you from years of guilt, years of fear, years of pain. Actually seeing what it's brought to your life could change everything. Believe me, it really does. So there's a lot you can do with gratitude. It is literally a superpower. It is one of them tools in your toolkit that you all need. Everybody needs it. Everybody needs to be able to use this emotion, bring it in, and actually reprogram your brain and reprogram your healing from using gratitude. It is so, so powerful. So I really want you to start to think about how you can use this. And I've popped some journal prompts in the show notes. And if you are watching this via video or the masterclasses that I've added to the bonus of Manifest Your Magnificent Life, then please use the journal prompts and work through this information because it is so powerful. So I have added this as a bonus to Manifest Your Magnificent Life. And if anybody hasn't seen that program, it is literally all about transforming your life. I use the stuff that I use to change in there as well. So please check that out. But start to think of things on how you can use gratitude in your own life. Like I said, that was the first thing that started changing things for me. It literally turned things around. And now, I have transformed so much, but gratitude is still a massive part of it. I know that when I'm not using it, I kind of dip. Even now, if I'm not in the habit of looking for things that I'm grateful for, it sends me back to my pity party. And suddenly the way to get out of that is bringing gratitude back in. So please make it your superpower and make sure you have it in your toolkit because it is incredible. So I would love to know how you're using gratitude. So if you're listening to the podcast or you're watching it on this masterclass replay, just share with me what you're going to do and how you move it forward because it is incredible. So I hope you enjoyed this one and I'll catch you soon. I'm Rachel Chamley and you've been listening to the Manifesting Straight Talk podcast. If you're not already following me on social media, make sure you come and find me on Instagram. I'm at Rachel Chamley, or come and join the Manifesting Straight Talk Facebook group. All my details are in the show notes, so you can catch me there. But I hope you've been left feeling inspired after this podcast. It was so much fun. Join me next time for another episode of Manifesting Straight Talk.